Before you can figure out where you're going, you gotta look back at where you've been. There's things that happen that seem like they didn't mean nothing at the time. But then you realize they mean everything.
So word on the street is Raising Kanan Season 4. Now the last time we spoke about Raising Kanan was actually after episode 6 of Ghost. Just before episode 406, they dropped a teaser for Season 4 with Unique being back on business, Rock making moves in the game, Jukebox falling even deeper with Marvin giving her a gun. We saw Lou being back with the family and looking a lot more healthy and stronger than he did compared to the end of last season. There was also Rock coming face to face with Unique and a few more bits. They also teased that it was coming back this winter, but with no official date, and I guess that's where we have to start. When are they going to actually air Season 4? Because surely, it is about time we saw the official trailer, got a few exclusive images, and got the date locked in our calendars. Unfortunately, stars do love to keep us on our toes and keep us waiting. I personally think it still has to be around the corner. The official trailer has to be coming soon, and we also have to remember, with every Power season that passes by, we do get closer to Power Origins. In terms of Power Book 4 Force, I think we all know how it works. When the Power news does come, all the news is going to be coming thick and fast, one after the other, just like it did with the cancellation news of Ghost, Power Origins, and Raising Kanan being renewed for a Season 5. It really was a crazy few days. So, maybe expect a bit of a crazy period where, out the blue, they hit us with a few announcements, and it's kind of like bang bang bang, one after the other, especially with how this universe is now moving on to its next phase. Now with that being said, let's dig into some early predictions in terms of Raising Kanan Season 4, starting with some new players.
Early Tyler talking about opening an exotic fish store. You know, we were like piranhas and shit. We could keep our business in the back with the aquariums and food or whatnot.
I'm flipping this shit to Early Tyler.
So we will be seeing Early Tyler, a character who has been mentioned a few times in the series, by Marvin in Season 1 and Ronnie in Season 3. He's a character who's said to be a trustworthy ally and a secret keeper. Early Tyler is a neighborhood institution and a very good friend to have in your corner. That's only if you can afford the high financial price of his friendship. We then have B-Rilla, a raw, volatile, and incredibly talented young rapper who's said to be serving a prison sentence for armed robbery. Lulu sees B-Rilla's potential and wants to sign him. Next up, after the death of Sal Baselli, we have a new crime boss in New Jersey who goes by the name of Phil Russo. He's Jersey's new crime boss, accustomed to garnering respect, deference, and other men's fear. He suffers no fools and handles business negotiations with stoic confidence. The fourth new character that they've announced is Imani Okoye. She's said to be smart, confident, and a business-savvy executive at a boutique record label. So, those are a few new characters that have been announced so far, and there may be others, but definitely expect these four to be in and around the mix when it comes to the main players on Raising Kanan Season 5. Now, in terms of the storyline for Season 4, I think the first thing we definitely have to discuss is Unique. Recently I did a podcast with Mr. Power Universe, which I will link down below in the description section. We spoke about a whole host of topics around Power, but also about Unique's kind of return and my thoughts on whether or not he was Breeze, with the short answer being, as you guys know, my opinion is a no. However, I still do expect him to play a major role going forward because they haven't brought him back for no reason. Originally they planned Season 4 without Unique, but with his return, Sasha Penn did admit that they kind of had to shake things up in the writer's room. As soon as he said he wanted to be back, I wanted him back, there was no question. But I can't lie, we had already written the scripts. Frankly, the end of the season was completely reconstructed. Let me put it to you this way, it wasn't an insignificant amount of work. It required a complete reimagining of the engine of not just Season 3, but also in Season 4, and the biggest impact has been on Season 4. So with Unique's return, they did have to change a few things and probably go in a different direction with a few storylines and a few characters. However, going into the early stages of Season 4, the first question they definitely have to answer is, how did Unique survive? Could it have been Panessa, his wife? Was it the Italians who may feel some type of way with Stefano calling the hit on Sal Baselli, and I guess turning his back on those out in New Jersey? Was it someone else, maybe a mystery character? That's the first question. Now the second question is, how has he changed after what he went through? Joey Badass has already teased that the Unique that we once knew is definitely gone. You know, the kind of charismatic, charming, a bit of a joker, a bit of a romantic with Rock. That character we once knew is definitely gone. I think the Unique that we now see in the early stages of Raising Kanan Season 4 is going to be a lot darker. I think he's going to be thinking about revenge, because at this moment in time, all he can see is Ronnie try to take him out, but then you had Rock swoop in and take the business under Stefano. So, from his perspective, it does probably look a bit dodgy if I'm going to be honest. Now my third question, does he also for a brief period of time move under the radar, just like we saw Kanan during OG Power Season 3? From my perspective and from what we've seen before, you can gain a huge advantage on your enemies by allowing them to think you're dead. It allows you to make moves, fuck with people's business, come in all guns blazing in this spot masked up, and nobody would ever know it's Unique. Nobody would ever think to point their finger in Unique's direction because they think he's dead. So, I am intrigued to see whether they kind of take this kind of approach, at least for a few episodes until he meets Rock again, because he definitely will. I think they've already teased them coming face to face in the teaser already, and it's going to be interesting to see kind of their relationship develop. They've turned from enemies into allies, and then they found themselves in a bit of a romantic relationship. Do we see them working together again? Or do we see them spark their kind of romance again? I personally don't think so. I think that ship has long sailed, and that chapter of Rock and Unique's life is over. But which direction do they take it in going forward? Will Unique also have an influence on Kanan? Especially because when you consider his relationship with Rock, that's also definitely something to consider. Now with that being said, let's move on to Rock. Now with Rock's position at this moment in time, we all knew she was never going to be out the game for so long. She tried her hand at being a regular civilian and also building a legit empire. However, just like you need alliances in the streets, you do also need alliances in the real world as well. We also how Ghost used to keep law enforcement happy by giving them a bit of cash, and I think Rock is just kind of beginning to realize she doesn't have to kind of kneel, but it wouldn't hurt to pay to keep law enforcement on your side. I mean, she's the one who gave similar advice to Jukebox in Season 1.
I ain't friends with no cop. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that sometimes the police are good friends to have.
So, we're all used to seeing Rock being a character who's very tough. She's someone who will always kind of do things on her terms. We saw it with Unique, she said she kneels for no man. We then saw it with Salbacelli, she's not afraid. But this is Rock definitely adapting, maybe because she doesn't have Detective Howard within law enforcement. So, she's gonna have to evolve and in essence, play the game, tick for tack. Now, running it back to early Tyler, I also think that could be another crucial ally for Rock in Season 4. We heard Marvin mention him way back in Season 1, and this is what I love about raising Kanan. If they mention a character, best believe that they would introduce them. They won't mention a character for no reason. Sasha Penn will definitely want to create a complete story when it comes to the Thomases, whether it be by the end of Season 5 or whether they run it one more season and stretch it to Season 6. I personally believe Season 5 will be the last. But regardless, Sasha Penn will want to create a complete story when it comes to the entire crew on raising Kanan, whether it be Famous, Unique, Stefano, and especially the Thomases and how the story arc ends for Rock. Characters that have been mentioned like Ellie Tyler to D-Wiz's brother, I do also think we'll meet D-Wiz's brother. There's also her relationship with Jukebox, Marvin, Lou, and Kanan. Everything will definitely be accounted for, and whatever's kind of not accounted for could potentially kind of move over into Power Origins. Now, in terms of her relationship with Kanan, we definitely know where they're taking their relationship, that's for sure. I think there's going to have to be another tough conversation that needs to be had around how she took Detective Howard off the chessboard.
You see this shit?
That's definitely going to be one uncomfortable conversation, just like at the beginning of Season 3, which she could kind of explain by being honest and saying it was Detective Howard or his Uncle Marvin. But the problem with Rock at this moment in time, she's told so many damn lies. She's manipulated her son so much over these last few seasons. Whatever comes out of her mouth at this moment in time, even if it is the truth, even if she is being sincere, she's told so many lies, Kanan will never believe her. And you can see kind of why Kanan turned out the way he did with how he was so manipulative in Power, how he used to lie and play chess with everyone. So, as always, at the center of the storyline in Season 4 will be his relationship with Rock, which I recently said to a friend is the heartbeat of the show, and once Rock meets her end, I guess that's the beginning of Power Origins. Now, the Thomas family is definitely a very complicated family. Long gone are the days where we'll see them sitting at Lamont's Diner on a Thursday evening, and long gone are the days where we'll see them sitting around having a family dinner, at least a happy family dinner. What you can also kind of see is how close Duke and Kanan once were, but how they'll kind of slowly start to drift further apart, especially the deeper Kanan gets into the streets. The deeper Kanan gets mixed in with maybe Unique, later on Breeze, and definitely a few other characters. The relationship that we saw between them in Power was one which was cold, and definitely had a deeper story. especially for Kanan to kill his cousin who, in his words, nobody loved harder. They definitely have to give us a foundation as to what went wrong. Yeah, sure, Kanan eventually took a liking to Tariq, but to do what he did to Jukebox after we've seen how their relationship is the way it is in raising Kanan, what went wrong? So I can definitely see them having a few moments, but something that kinda makes them drift further apart at the same time. Now with Jukebox, she has been through a lot of trauma, and I mean a lot of bad moments. There was a death of a girlfriend, Nicole, in season 1, to the bad batch of drugs that was cooked by Kanan. She had a lack of relationship with her father Marvin, who spent a portion of her childhood in jail. In season 2, she went to seek this love and affection she wasn't getting from Marvin from her mother Kenya, who didn't exactly accept her for who she was, and where she went through a few more traumatic events, eventually also losing Kenya. In season 3, they gave her a few happy moments in terms of meeting a new love interest in Aisha, her being involved in this girls group, and also her building a relationship with the evolved Marvin. However, we know who Jukebox did eventually become. We know Jukebox didn't follow through with her dream. We know how cold-hearted she was, how she changed her surname to Ghana, how she became a cop. So, there are going to be even more elements that kind of just slowly chip away at Jukebox, and I do think it is about time we saw her turn up. In the teaser you've got Marvin giving her a gun, and also her using the gun because you can see a bit of smoke coming from it in the teaser, so maybe we will finally see Juke in some real action. With Marvin, I've definitely got a lot to say on Marvin's character, his evolution, how he's changed as a person and how he's grown, how he's the definition of family first, but when shit needs to be done, it gets done. However, at some point, I do think we're going to have that difficult conversation of what happens to Marvin's character come the end, which I don't think necessarily will be in season 4. I can actually see both Lou and Marvin making it to season 5. And with Lou, I can definitely see him having a bit of a redemption arc. He's someone that will definitely be back stronger. But with both characters, at some point we are definitely going to have the uncomfortable and difficult conversation about their fate, which I definitely don't want to have too soon. I think let's see where both characters are during season 4, and then we'll definitely get a better idea of where they are. In terms of an early death prediction, I've already said, I can see Lou and Marvin making it to season 5. But for season 4, I am going to go with Famous. The direction they've taken his character in terms of this breakdown in relationship with Kanan, him being arrested by law enforcement, and them really putting the pressure on, with Kanan naming his son Sean, which has to be after his best friend in Famous. I do think at some point he will meet a tragic end, and that's a death I can see happening in season 4, which then pushes Kanan further into the streets, and eventually into the path of Breeze. So, that's a breakdown of where we are with raising Kanan at this moment in time, and just some general overall thoughts heading into what will no doubt be another great season of raising Kanan. With that being said, the floor is now yours. I'm sure we'll definitely get the trailer soon, but drop all your early thoughts and predictions down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.